Okay, here is my 4th of July meal on a budget. With everything totaled, including the uh, watermelon that I did not ask for, I added an extra $4.95 in just to make sure that my budget was exactly what it was, and it came out to $26.48. That's including the meat. The beans were a substitute for the Wally World, and they weren't even both the same kind. But that's what's going to be for our 4th of July barbecue. The watermelon was not on my list. And since there was such a screw up, they threw that in. Had I had to pay for everything, including the watermelon, we are at $26.51. All right, so we're gonna get started on our budget 4th of July. We're not doing hot dogs and hamburgers. So if I only had that much money to feed my family, this is what I would have done. And this is what I'm doing. So starting with the chicken. Oh, I want to wash my chicken off. Hold on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take... What's going on? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my chicken in half. I'm just going to press down firmly on the top. I'm going to slice it right down the middle, just like that. Just butterfly it right straight open. I'm going to do that to all of the meat. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to the meat after that. So all of your chicken is sliced in half. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it up with a little piece of saran wrap, or a big piece, depending on who you ask. And I'm going to take the mallet and I'm just going to, from the middle out. Like. Okay, so I cut down the chicken, patted down the chicken with the mallet. A lot of times I'll cut these in half because they're going to be on a bun because we're having them grilled. So I would do this size. But just for today, we're just going to cook them whole like this. And if they're too big for the bun, we could always cut them down, or they could eat it on their plate. So what I do is I take the chicken that I've already cut and smashed down, is I just add it to a bag. Let me add all the chicken first. It's going to be quite a bit of chicken here. What we do from here is I take whatever Italian dressing you have. This is all I have, was a little tiny bit, and some Olive Garden dressing. It was gifted to me, I think, I don't remember. But this has milk in it, so Eric can't use that. And this certainly isn't enough. So I dug this out. I'm going to use up the last of this. Pour that right into the bag. This one's zesty Italian, so it might give it a little bit of kick. And we just dump that in there. And then we're gonna let that marinate throughout the day. So let's get that in the refrigerator. Okay, so we're starting the corn. There's nothing in here but the corn and the water. When I was a little girl, my mom would cook our corn on the cob in milk and sugar. Oh, it was just absolutely delicious. I can't do the milk. So we're gonna do the sugar and water. And this is a third of a cup. It's not a lot, especially when it's in season. It's good and sweet, but this really, that's even too much, I feel like. It really does add something to it. I don't know what. All right, so now we're gonna get started on the baked beans. This is a can of the no-name baked beans I had, other than the ones that I had showed originally, because I wanted to show you how I would make the beans if I just had pork and beans. So This is a can. I only have one can, so I drained them. I have another can. I don't have the just plain pork beans, but I have this. What I do is I put this in here, but before I do that, I want my beans to be real good and thick. So I take a little bit of the juice with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I add the juice and a couple of the beans to the container. Shake well. Hey, maybe the beans made for a good agitator. All right, so I'm going to put these beans in here. That one has flavor in it, so I might as well keep it, right? I add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar per big giant can. So that's 2 of the 1/4 cups, or a 1/2 cup. I add a tiny bit. I know this seems like a lot of sugar, but I add a tiny bit of pancake syrup. Not a lot. It gives it that smoky flavor in the background. Now there's a little bit of cornstarch stuff. Oops, still on that a little bit. But just about a tablespoon. That's all I wanted in there. I'll taste it later because I want that hickory or whatever pancake, maple, not hickory, maple. So we're going to add a little bit of butter. I know why I have everything sitting on the side where I have to reach over. 1 tablespoon of butter. And 1 more. I usually do this by eye, so 2 tablespoons. Tablespoon per can. Now I add a little bit of yellow mustard. You can add spicy, you can add whatever you want. I'm going to do a 1/2 tablespoon. It's not a lot. And we're going to mix this up and we're going to taste it to make sure I didn't too sweet it. And now I started on the stove here. Now I don't have, it wasn't in the budget to get bacon, but if you had some, you could certainly add it. Well, I just saw a piece of bacon floating by in the beans. Came from the can. There we go. That's our piece of bacon. I smell that cake cooking. Okay, let's see how that is. Just want a little bit of the juice. No, that's good. That's good right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it on here for just a few minutes. And then I'm going to stick this in here because I want it good and thick. Because we like our beans thick. That's just what's stuck on the side. Give it another stir. And then you really could do this on the stove, but I have time, so I want these to bake in the oven. So I'm going to use up the last of my, I think, I have my strainer sitting there. Oh, I got another piece of bacon. The last of my, maybe it's a foil pan. It's really not foil, it's thin. But I'm going to put it in that and then recycle it. Then on to the next step. Okay, got a giant piece of foil. It's ripped up there anyway. I need a little extra. I'm just going to cover it and stick it in the oven. It's at 350. All right, so now we have our little slab of ribs, and it's going to be good because this is all meat, no bone in it, beef rib. And this is a deal. I buy these all the time. For this slab, it's $3.24. I have fed my kids on one slab when they were smaller. Since they're older, one slab would not feed us all for dinner. I'm aware of that, but we're gonna have other food with this, and this is just a nice extra taste. So how do I cook it? We're gonna grill it. I put some slices across the top, just like that. And I'm basically just gonna put seasoning, salt, pepper, just the, you know, the holy grail. Some seasoning salt, some garlic, some onion powder, and some black pepper to taste. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Going to rub that in, then we're going to get this, let it sit for a minute, and then we're going to get her on the grill. All right, so I got the chicken out of the refrigerator. It's been marinating all afternoon, so it's good and in there. I'm going to take the chicken out of this bag. I'm going to discard the leftovers because it's no good for anything else, and we're going to grill the chicken, and I'll show you the progress. Yep, got these out of the oven. I got my handy dandy forks. See what's going on underneath the hair before I get burned. Ooh, they're starting to look good. Where's my little spoon I had? I want them to thicken up. Oh, they are thickened though. On the bottom, they're thick. So I'm gonna give these a good stir, give it a taste. Wish I had some bacon to lay across the top, but I don't. So there you have it. Okay, these look good. I'm not gonna put them back in the oven because once I stir them up, they're good and thick and they're gonna taste good too. I took a little spoon out to see how it would be. So I'm just gonna cover these up and let them rest until the ribs and chicken is done. All right, so I'm gonna make the deviled eggs. Yep, that happened. Oh well. So we're just gonna cut them in half and take the yolks out and put them in that bowl. And I just use a spoon and just kind of boop, done. All right, so I'm gonna smash up the yolks. Now that one that broke, here's that broken piece. I just kind of chopped off what I could to make what I could out of it. And then I put the yolk in here. It'll just make for fluffier eggs because we got an extra egg and not two halves to fill. Okay, now I use two different things in mine. Okay, when I make my deviled eggs, I use mayonnaise and Miracle Whip. I know it sounds weird. I don't like Miracle Whip, but I do in my deviled eggs. It gives it, I don't know, it just gives it a little something. I do prefer Duke's over Hellmann's or any other brand at this point. I'm new to Duke's. I really like it. But I don't have any of that either. Apparently I'm out. So, next best thing, boom, right to the mayonnaise. I mean, right to the mayonnaise, right to the Walmart. And then, of course, I have a little bit of the Miracle Whip. Try to smack what I can out of the Duke's, because maybe I won't have to use the other. It didn't work out either. Let me get this mayonnaise out of here and I'll be back. Okay, change of plans. This is not looking good. It's not smelling right. Not using it. So, we're just going to have plain old deviled eggs. Some mayonnaise. Some mustard. Boop. Just a squirt or two. Some salt and pepper. and some pepper. That's about it. Might need more mayonnaise than that, but I wanted to start slow. No, I definitely need more mayonnaise than that. I'm not a mayonnaise-y kind of a girl. I don't really like mayonnaise. All right, so let me get this mixed up. And that's what it looks like in there. All right, so there's the egg. A little bit of the paprika on there. I know, it's paprika. Just teasing. Nice little pretty. It's just me and the kids, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but we want it to look pretty. All right, so you take all the oop, slipped right out of my things. You take all of the chicken out. I say chicken funny, it's like chicken. We're gonna take that all out, and we're gonna put this out there on the grill along with our ribs. I got the chicken on the grill. I took the ribs off for a minute to let them rest. I'm gonna put them back on briefly so I can add the barbecue sauce. But look, they're starting to grill up. Smells yummy out here.
Yummy.
Right, Eric, that's right. All right, they're cooking. Look at that piece of rib right there. It looks yummy. And I can smell the Italian dressing. Now, some want barbecue sauce on both, and some just want plain chicken. Yep. Dinner is ready. Yummy. A little more barbecue sauce on that one, but that is dinner. All right, Eric. There is our 4th of July birthday budget dinner. What are you thinking? What are you going to eat first?
I'm gonna eat my chicken.
The chicken first. All right. Well, let us get to eating. I'm not going to do a taste test today, but we will talk about how it is. If you get any benefit at all from my content, you can help me out by clicking like, share, commenting, and definitely hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Eric, how many pieces of chicken did you eat?
3.5.
3.5. The boy who doesn't chew too much meat can't stop eating it. He's like, can I have more? Can I have more? So I guess that's the taste test, huh?
Mm-hmm.